Okay, guys, what is up? This is Oji Senpai here today to do a review of Hunter x Hunter chapter 345. Now, I do have to apologize. I have been on break for a while, and I had stuff to do throughout these last couple of weeks because it is summer. But I'm here now. I'm going to try and do reviews weekly now again. But yeah, let's get into this chapter of Hunter x Hunter, the newest one. So I saved, because this is a Hunter x Hunter chapter. I saved a couple tabs, making sure that I keep up with like what's going on in the story. So let me start off with the basics: pacing, story progression, and artwork. Let me start with the artwork. The artwork, ever since Hunter x Hunter came back after the break, it's been actually really good for Togashi's level, of course, because Togashi apparently he likes to sketch out what he does on the chapters for Weekly Shonen Jump, and then in the volumes he actually gives us like the real drawings. But these drawings are actually pretty good for Togashi, because Togashi's art, especially the Chimera Ant arc at the end of it was really bad. So, anyways, so pace it. So artwork, I'm gonna have to actually give it a good plus. When it comes to the pacing, good. It was good pacing. Kind of like good pacing with the story. It's not. It's more like a setup chapter. Again, these past couple of chapters have been setup chapters, so I'm gonna give the pacing rating good. And when it comes to story progression, we have going back to Aunt Mito's place, and him going there, and we have that, and then we see the actual prince of Kaiken. Now, let's get on with the actual chapter. First things first, Gon. He's not going to be the main focus of this arc. That's obvious. But apparently, from what Jing says, Gon, his aura is still there. Like his aura is still there, but it's just that he can't see it anymore. Because of course, what happened with the whole Neferpitu type of thing, where he gave up his net abilities just for that one moment to take down Neferpitu, and according to Jing, the only way to get his nen abilities back is at a price. So we know for a fact that it's not gone forever. Like Gon can get it back, but it's a huge price, a huge gamble. And I'm thinking that more than likely it'll have to be some type of like net restriction, kind of like what Kurapika has, where I can only take down these kind of people, but other than that, excuse me. Other than that, if I do anything to anyone else, this Nen chain around my heart will take down my heart and I'll be dead. So I don't know if that's gonna happen because Gon is the main character. So technically speaking, even though he's not gonna be featured in this arc that much anymore, he will still be back again. He'll have to be back again at some point. So we don't know what the price may be, if there is going to be a price. But Gon seems okay with the fact that he's going to be normal. Like he seems okay, and he seems okay with it. And there's this funny scene where he's talking with Aunt Mito, and Aunt Mito's like, "Oh, well, while you were away, with your adventures, you have all this work to do. It's like a whole shit ton of work." Sounds pretty nice. But another thing I want to know before I go on is Gon and Jake, their relationship, and how Gon really said that my goal was to just find Jake, not just to meet with Jake. And if Gon had his Nen abilities back, he would have traveled with Jing a lot more. But since Gon is normal now, he's completed his goal. And Jing, via the phone call, said, since you've already met me, your role's over, why don't you find out what you want to do? So Gon will have to adjust to a normal life, a normal lifestyle, which is actually pretty interesting. Like, I think that's pretty cool. But what I can say is that Gon will be back. Obviously, but I think this arc will focus on Jing, Pariston, Beyond, the Zodiacs, and of course Lirio and Kurapika. Killua, I don't know what Killua's gonna do, but Killua more than likely will be on this arc as well because we focus mainly on Killua and Gon, but we haven't focused on the other characters yet. So this is a nice change of pace. I like this. Togashi did a good job. So yeah, that comes to that part. And when it comes to the next part, I'm gonna have to change the tabs for this one. Hold on, just a second. Okay, so let's talk about Jing, Pariston, and the rest of the team that Jing has assembled, that Pariston and Rihanna have assembled. First things first, Jing apparently notices that all of the team members that Rihanna has assembled are specialists. Apparently they're specialists for some reason. And Jing, no, beyond this, because each every one of them has a skill that is important for the Dark Continent. So he must have planned that far ahead. Now, another thing that I think is really interesting is that during the election arc, we found out apparently that Pariston had a group of hunters, namely the Temp Hunters, who helped him with the election and stuff like that. You know, making sure he had more votes. We didn't know who the Temp Hunters were or why they were even helping him. But apparently, they were these guys, the guys that Jing was talking to in this chapter, those were the guys that helped him out. And they kept him in the seat of president for maintaining power. That was what Beyond told them to do. So that's pretty interesting. So apparently Beyond wanted Pariston to stay as the vice president, and he also made sure that you know Pariston was in check, kind of. And we see Pariston, and Pariston, he's like this is the first time he's ever hated someone, and I like how he's actually like interested in whether or not what he's gonna do or what he's gonna try to do to Jing. Because I like this is the first dude that apparently he hates. You know, he says, "Oh, it's troublesome. This is probably why I hate him." I'm like, whoa. I'm like, because we the last chapter it's mentioned that Pariston he loves the Hunter Association. He loves everything about it. The problem is that he wants to screw around with it so much that he wants to destroy what he loves. But this is the first time ever seen where he actually wants to take down someone because of a hatred for them. And Jing is that person. Now you can tell because you can tell that Jing and Pariston are a lot of like. Even though Jing's not that fucked up, he he's really he really has a lot of alike with him, and that's probably the reason why he doesn't like him. So that to me is really interesting. I'm still not sure what the whole number two thing, why Jing has to be number two. That's something that even one of the other hunters with the swirly eyes, the swirly glasses, and the frizzy hair, that's what she knows too. It's like, why do you have to be number two so bad? So we don't know why he has to be number two yet. But obviously, it has to be pretty important. It also has to do with this dude, Don Freeze. Where the fuck that dude is? I don't even know. So, anyways, and there's also apparently the team has put itself between the people that want Jing's money and the people that don't want Jing's money. So it's split between that. And apparently, until they figure out, how they're gonna deal with this, they're not gonna listen to what the fuck he says, which is really not a good idea whatsoever. But I digress. So that part was really interesting, but it's obvious now that they're getting ready to go into the Dark Continent, making sure that they know everything that they can and, making sure that they're ready. So that's pretty interesting. And the fact that they're all specialists, which probably includes Pariston, that's pretty interesting. So I really want to see Pariston's powers. Now, let's move to the next part, which is the Prince. Oh my god. This dude, yo, what the fuck? Hold on, let me go on to the, let me hold on. Just give me a second. No, it's around there somewhere. Because I want to go to this direct scene. Okay, so the next thing, the Prince. Yo, what the fuck? I'm really scared for Kurapika. I really, really am. Like, real talk. Like, I'm really scared for this dude. Because Kurapika said at the end of this chapter, and I'll get to that later, but mainly this is important now because it pertains to the Prince. Kurapika said that there were two people that had the scarlet eyes that he wanted, that said that they wouldn't give up the eyes even if death was at their door. And apparently Kurapika managed to change their mind. But when you see the prince and what he does in this chapter, it's like, dude, the prince obviously is not gonna go down without a fight. We see him in this chapter. Apparently, he's interested in the real world, as in like he wants to like meet people with different information. And I think that implies that the prince really hasn't been outside of his home. I'm guessing it was kind of weird. Like manga stream kind of like even manga stream and manga panda were weird about it, but he's interested in the people that know a lot about the real world and stuff like that. Because there's this guy, apparently his servant Mark, brings these two girls to the party, and brings these two girls to the prince's home, a hotel, and apparently the prince asks some questions. I don't know what the fuck happened because we see at the end of that the prince is taking a shower and there's blood all over there's blood all over the jacuzzi where he's in. I'm like, dude, what the fuck happened? The prince is on like I don't know if he's well. We don't know if for a fact that he's strong as hell. We don't know because all we know is that he's powerful, but we don't know how powerful he is in comparison to Kurapika. But the fact that he's this fucked up to kill two girls who didn't know what the fuck was going on, who apparently only cared about fashion and having sex, the fact that he killed both of them because they didn't have that kind of information is astounding. It's fucking crazy. Like, I'm sitting here, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, Kurapika, I'm really scared. Like, I'm really, really scared. I'm not saying that Kurapika will have, like Kurapika will get his ass kicked. I'm just saying it might be a lot of trouble with this dude, this prince. And I can't pronounce the prince's name to save my life, so I'm just gonna call him the prince for now until I get like a I don't know nickname or something. But this dude, the prince, is not something you want to fuck with. So, and apparently at the end of this part, he pretty much says, bring in the next two girls for me. So, like, I don't know, dude. This prince is on some other shit. Like, I don't even know what the fuck to just talk about this. But okay, so that's where the prince comes in. Again, I don't know what Kurapika's gonna do, but it's gonna be hard. Can't imagine I'm on the same ship together with again. So the next part, the whole Beyond situation. Beyond Netero apparently signing this contract saying, well, now you're completely restricted. You cannot go anywhere. You have 24-hour supervision, and you'll be monitored. And if you do anything against this, yo, that's some bad shit. So Beyond at this point is just going along with it, just fine. It's like, oh, it's going all according to plan. And he says, oh, it's not that bad. These things are negotiable. I'm like, this dude has so much like confidence. It's like the swag with him is brimming. There are three things left according to him. Let me go to that page because that page is important. Hold on, just a second. Okay, so here's what he says: capability, means, and a contract. And Togashi shows us three panels. The first panel is with the Zodiacs. The second panel is the Prince of Kaiken meeting up with these next two girls that apparently Mark's bringing in. Oh shit. Anyways, let me move on. And we see a contract, which is where we see Jing and the swirly glasses looking lady talking about some things. And we see Jing with the phone, probably taking pictures of the book. The capability part, obviously, that with the Zodiacs being in the first thing, that means that they need capable people to handle the Dark Continent. The Zodiacs are your people. That's number one. They're good. And except for Kirby and Lyra, I don't know. Again, Lyra's abilities are unknown for the most part. All we know is that he's mastered the basics, and he's also gained a Hatsu. That's good. The second thing is means. The means obviously relating to the Prince of Kaiken. More likely his money and his power and what his influence is. So I think that's the means. So the capability, the Zodiacs, because of course their abilities, they're really good, they're really powerful net users. The means, obviously meaning to it, the Prince of Kaiken, he's rich, he has power, he has authority. That's the means. And the final thing is a contract. That's where I'm like, what the fuck? Because I'm thinking like the last panel where it mentions a contract has Jing and the girl with the swirly glasses. I don't know what that means. I've thought about it for a while, ever since yesterday. I'm thinking, I'm like, does he mean like a NEN contract or does he mean like an actual contract of some sort? Again, I have no clue. I don't know. But I think that each one of these three things relates to those three panels. Capability, obviously. NEN users, how strong are they? The NEN users that are going to the continent, how strong are they? Like, that's what they mean by capability. That's what I think. The means, obviously, the Prince of Tekken, power, authority, money. He has it. He has it. He owns the entire hotel that the girls went into. And finally, the contract. Again, unknown. I'm not too sure about that. If you guys know, tell me in the description box down below. No, not the description box. The comment section down below. I have no clue. I have really no clue. So, with that, I'm like, what the fuck? Because the contract thing is the most interesting. Now, another thing, before I forget, uh, Cheeto Yorkshire talks to this dude, and apparently he's probably one of those world leaders, and he says, I want you to make sure that Beyond the Tarot is locked up, and if he ever tries anything, if he tries to claim anything in his name, if he ever finds any discoveries, anything, if he ever manages to escape, you will not have bright futures, and Cheeto Yorkshire understands. So that's something I'm like, okay, fine, fine. And we have the final part of the chapter. Hold on. The final part of the chapter. The prince and how Kurapika's gonna handle him. So the cow dude, I forgot his name. He's one of the Zodiacs already. He's trying to go talk to Kurapika and make sure that Kurapika's come to the Zodiacs so they can start off for the journey. I want to say that Kurapika's a little bit over his head. A little. Well, no, not even a little bit. A lot. Because you have to take into consideration the fact that the prince took these two girls. You just wanted them. You just wanted them. I just want to talk to him, from you just want to figure out about the real world and stuff like that. And the fact that all they knew was fashion and having sex, and he just killed them. He's like, fuck it, I'm gonna kill you guys. Well, he didn't say that. We don't know what exactly happened down in that room. The fact that he did that and that he was that fucked up to where he'd be like, I don't care, they didn't have the information necessary. Kurapika is way over his head. Way over his head. But will he get his ass kicked? I'm not too sure. I don't think so. But again, I could be wrong. The prince is on some other shit. So, and remember, of course, the whole. There are two people who said, even if I die, I won't hand over the scarred eyes. They changed their mind. The prince will follow suit. No, no. The prince is fucked up in itself. So I don't know about that, Kurapika. But we'll see where it goes. And that pretty much ends the chapter. So no chapter next week. No 100x100 chapter next week. But it does say that. Give me a second. That it will continue next week with a special project. So that's pretty much the chapter. Overall, the chapter was just a setup, but it wasn't as big of a setup as the last ones. So I'm gonna have to give this chapter a rating of good plus. No, great. This is a great chapter of Hunter x Hunter, but yeah, it's not as big of a setup as the other chapters of Hunter x Hunter. So yeah, I'm done. Okay. Chapter rating, great. Rate the video. Like the video if you liked what I said here. Just like the video if you don't, it's up to you. And yeah, tell me in the comment section down below, what do you think is gonna happen with the prince and Kurapika? Because I'm really interested in to see what happens there, but I'm also interested between Jing and Pariston. Honestly, Jing and Pariston is kind of like I'm not saying Jing is a troll. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying Jing is trolling. It's kind of like a troll met his match or met his rival, his equal. That's kind of like what I feel with Pariston, because Pariston's looking at this dude Jing, and he's like, oh, I'm not scared of this guy, but I do hate him, and I really want to find out what I do to people I hate. Honestly, it's kind of like a troll met his equal, his rival, kind of. But I'm not saying Jing is a troll. That's obviously not true. But I think that's really interesting. So tell me what you guys think about the Prince and Kurapika. What do you guys think about Jing and Pariston? What do you guys think about the chapter in it itself? So again, like the video if you like it, dislike it if you don't. Rate, comment, and subscribe. Chapter rating was great, and I'll see you guys later. Oji Senpai, I'm out. Peace, guys.